Hello, and welcome to the Marketing Masterminds video of social audits. After this video, you will know more in depth about the ins and outs of social audits. To begin, a social audit is a systematic review of an organization's policies, practices, and operations to assess its impact on society, particularly with respect to human rights, labor rights, environmental impact, and other relevant social and ethical issues. The aim of a social audit is to provide a comprehensive picture of an organization's social performance and identify areas for improvement. The process typically involves the collection of information from a variety of sources, including company records, employee interviews, and stakeholder surveys. The data is then analyzed to determine the organization's compliance with relevant laws and standards, as well as its level commitment to social responsibility. Social audits can be performed by internal teams, external consultants, or a combination of both. The results of a social audit can be used to inform the development of more responsible business practices, as well as to demonstrate an organization's commitment to social responsibility to stakeholders such as investors, employees, customers, and the wider community. It is important to note that social audits should not be seen as a one-time event, but rather as an ongoing process that is integrated into an organization's operation and strategy by continually monitoring and improving their social performance. Organizations can build stronger relationships with their stakeholders, enhance their reputation, and contribute to a more sustainable and equality society. So, why conduct social audits? 1. Compliance. Organizations may need to demonstrate compliance with laws and regulations that address social and ethical issues, such as labor rights, environmental protection, and human rights. Second, reputation management. A social audit can help an organization understand and manage its impact on society and build a positive reputation with its stakeholders, including employees, customers, and the wider community. 3. Continuous improvement. By conducting regular social audits, organizations can identify areas for improvement in their social performance and make changes that will enhance their impact on society. 4. Stakeholder engagement. Social audits can provide an opportunity for organizations to engage with stakeholders and gather feedback on their social performance, helping to build stronger relationships and increase trust. 5. Risk management. Social audits can help organizations identify potential risks associated with their operations and implement measures to mitigate these risks, such as labor rights abuse or environmental degradation. Overview of social audits. Planning. The organization defines the scope of the audit, identifies stakeholders, and sets performance expectations and criteria. Data collection. Information is gathered from various sources, including company records, employee interviews, and stakeholder surveys. Analysis. The collected data is analyzed to determine the organization's compliance with relevant laws and standards, as well as its level of commitment to social responsibility. Reporting. The result of the social audit are presented in a report that includes recommendations for improvement. Implementation. Based on the findings and recommendations of the social audit, the organization implements change to improve its social performance. So, what are some social audit methods? Document review. This involves reviewing relevant documents such as company policies, contracts, and records to assess compliance with laws and standards, as well as the organization's commitment to social responsibilities. Next, you have employee interviews. Interviews with employees can provide valuable insights into the organization's policies, practices, and culture. Also, it could help to identify areas for improvement. Stakeholder surveys. Surveys can be conducted with stakeholders, such as customers, suppliers, and community members, to gather feedback on the organization's social performance. Site visits. On-site visits can provide a more comprehensive understanding of the organization's operation and their impact on society. Desk review. This involves a desk-based review of publicly available information, such as news articles, reports, and other data sources, to gather information about the organization's social performance online. Preparation for a social audit. When it comes to selecting an audit team, you must look at the team's skills and expertise. The audit team should have the necessary skills and expertise to carry out the social audit effectively. This may include expertise in areas such as human resources, sustainability, social responsibility, and stakeholder engagement. Next should be independence. The audit team should be independent with no conflict of interest to ensure that the results of the audit are unbiased. Next is objectivity. The audit team should approach the social audit with an objective perspective and not be influenced by the views or interests of any particular stakeholder. Next would be relevant experience. The audit team should have relevant experience in conducting social audits and be familiar with specific requirements of the audit. Next would be availability. The audit team should be available to carry out the audit within the desired timeline. Lastly is communication skills. The audit team should have strong communication skills to effectively engage with stakeholders and present the results of the audit in a clear and coherent manner. Secondly, we have defining audit objectives. First, you should determine the scope of the audit. The first step is to determine the scope of the audit, including the areas of the organization's operations that will be covered and any specific issues that will be addressed. Second, identify stakeholders. The next step is to identify the stakeholders who will be impacted by the audit and their interests and expectations. This may include employees, customers, suppliers, shareholders, and members of the community. Third, set performance expectations and criteria. The organization should set performance expectations and criteria for the social audit based on the objectives of the audit and the needs of the stakeholders. This may include standards for compliance, benchmarks for performance, and specific social and ethical issues that will need to be addressed. Lastly, define the outcome of the audit. The organization should define the outcome of the audit, including what information will be collected, what analysis will be carried out, and what recommendations will be made. Next, you have preparing an audit plan. To prepare an audit plan, you must first determine the audit methodology. The first step is to determine the audit methodology that will be used, including the data collection methods, analysis techniques, and reporting format. Next, define the audit timeline. The next step is to define the timeline for the audit, including key milestones and deadlines for data collection, analysis, and reporting. Develop data collection tools is the third step. The organization should develop data collection tools such as questionnaires, interviews, and site visits to gather information from stakeholders. Fourth, plan for stakeholder engagement. The organization should plan for stakeholder engagement, including how and when stakeholders will be consulted and how their feedback will be incorporated into the audit. Fifth, allocate resources. The organization should allocate necessary resources, including staff time, budget, and equipment to ensure the audit can be carried out effectively. Lastly, establish reporting requirements. The organization should establish the reporting requirements for the audit, including the format, content, and distribution of the report. Follow up and monitoring. Implement the recommendation. The first step is to implement the recommendations from the social audit, including the changes to the organization's policies, processes, and practices. Establish a monitoring system is the second step. The organization should establish a monitoring system to track the implementation of their recommendations and to assess the impact of the changes on the organization's social performance. This may include regular reporting, site visits, and stakeholder engagement. 3. Monitor progress. The organization should monitor progress against the action plan, including the implementation of the recommendations and the achievement of the goals set out in the plan. 4th, evaluate the impact. The organization should evaluate the impact of the changes made as a result of the social audit, including the impact of stakeholders and the wider community. Lastly, review and revise the action plan. Based on the results of the monitoring and evaluation, the organization should review and revise the action plan as necessary to ensure it remains relevant and effective. In conclusion, a social audit is a valuable tool for organizations to assess their social performance and the impact of their operations on stakeholders and the wider community. Through the process of preparing for, conducting, and following up on a social audit, organizations can gain a deeper understanding of their social performance and identity and identify opportunities for improvement. By implementing the recommendations from the audit and continuously monitoring and evaluating their social performance, organizations can demonstrate their commitment to social responsibility and build trust with stakeholders. Overall, a social audit is an important step in a journey towards enhanced social performance and a more sustainable future for us all. Thank you.